I am not late, bastard. It is 5:45 on the dot. Thank you very much. Hello everybody. Happy fall, happy October, happy spooky month. Halloween's coming up. We know the Ram Jam. All right, confession time. Apple is better than pumpkin. Apple pie is better than pumpkin pie. Apple cider is better than pumpkin juice. I don't even know if you can do it. Like, pumpkin spice lattes are not a real thing. You are being ripped off because all it is cinnamon and nutmeg. They may throw a dash of clover in there, but literally that's all it is. If you've ever made pumpkin pie from scratch, you know that pumpkin has no actual flavor. There's nothing there. It doesn't exist. And that's why they throw all that stuff in there. So that pumpkin spice latte that everybody is like, literally go home and put cinnamon and nutmeg and a little bit of clover in there. And you've got your pumpkin spice latte that they charge you $9 for, or however much it is. But yeah, apple cider is better. Spiced apple cider is freaking phenomenal, especially like on a cool fall afternoon and you have it in one of those, like if you ever have it in like a tin cup that warms your hands, or ceramic mug and just warms your hands and everything. Freaking fantastic. And the apple is so much more versatile. You can make apple tarts, apple pies, apple dumplings, bob for apples, apple sauce, spiced apples. You can make dehydrated apple chips. I dare anyone to try and make a dehydrated pumpkin chip. You can do that to the seeds, sure, but you can't do that to pumpkin. Like, you can flavor a different, like a base chip to taste like pumpkin, and you can call it a pumpkin chip. But a pumpkin chip, you can't get a pumpkin chip out of pumpkin. Like, it does not work. Pumpkin seeds are great. Apple seeds are better. They give you apple trees. I'm just saying. So it's, gosh, so many wonderful, incredible, amazing apple recipes out there. And yeah, so when it comes to fall, I go the apple route, especially, oh my God, homemade Dutch apple pie with homemade vanilla ice cream on top. Oh my God, freaking phenomenal. You cannot go wrong. Yes. So if pumpkin is your jam, that's fine. Everybody is allowed their opinion, even if that opinion is wrong. All right, let's see who. I thought I said clove. Did I not say? I meant clove. Don't put clover in anything. Clove. Yes, that. It's clove. Yeah. Nutmeg, cinnamon, and clove. I don't know why I was saying clover. Not clover. Don't do clover. But yes, so it's all good. Raj Williams, hey there. I don't think they put allspice in the drinks at the store. I don't think they do, but I could be wrong. Yes, the Shagsworth apple strudel for the win. All day, every day, twice a day. Legioness, yes, down with the pumpkins. And don't get me wrong, but like, why did Jack have to be the pumpkin king? Why did Jack have to be the pumpkin king? Let's be real here. What is that about? Like, I get it. His name is Jack Jack-o'-lantern. I understand. But if you want to say that, well, the pumpkin, you can make it, you can carve it, and it can look more evil, and an apple doesn't look evil. First of all, clearly you've never watched the animated Snow White, because there's a skull that comes around the outside of the apple, and it is scary AF. But also, apples are the reason that mankind is no longer in the Garden of Eden. So I would say that the apple's got the pumpkin beat, bar none. Just saying. It can be wholesome and it can be evil. Ta-da! So, let's see who else we got. Hey, bastard, what's going on? Handsome Jack! I do arrive when I mean to. Thank you so much. So much love for all of you. Oh my goodness. Dr. Alex Stein, PhD, Electrian Supremacist. I hope I got all of that correct. Hello, welcome, and thank you for coming. I appreciate you very much. Cal G, what is going on? Hello, everybody. Everybody. Oh, Kindle's missing Y chromosome. Should I tell him that I found you? Because then he could come and get you and, maybe not be him. He couldn't be so, him. Apple is goated. Candy corn is on the goat level too. Candy corn is not on the goat level. No, Kindle's missing Y chromosome. You need to go find your X chromosome and X out the candy corn. No. Candy corn. All candy corn is friggin' sugared candle wax. It's disgusting. Like it has no flavor, first of all. It's terrible for you. And to top all that off, it's just nasty. Like who wants to put that much sugar in their mouth at one time? Like, I'm a girl and I don't want that much sugar in my mouth at one time. Ever. No. USS Cushing, hello. Thank you for coming, Evan S. You use Candy Crisp apples in your desserts. Ooh, yum. That sounds amazing. Oh, for real? I have no idea why I said it like that. A Valley Girl took over my body momentarily. It is the month of possession, so that's entirely possible, and that's what we're going to go with because that was terrifying for me. No, but honest to God, my grandmother, God rest her soul, I can make homemade caramel apples. I cannot make my grandmother's homemade caramel apples. I have no idea what she did, how she made. Like, I do all of the same things. I'm pouring out. I want everybody to love it. I want everybody to enjoy it. I want everyone to have, because food should be an experience. This is part of my problem with like bagged and boxed foods, like powdered cakes and powdered brownies and okay, I do love Hidden Valley Ranch though. Like, let's be real. But like all of this really processed food, it's not an experience. It's not enjoyable. Like, if you stopped I challenge everybody, anybody that's listening to this video right now, don't eat fast food for 30 days. Heck, even 14 days if you don't think you can make it the full 30. Just 2 weeks, do not eat any fast food, and then try and eat fast food again. And you will be able to actually taste how it's not real. Food should be an experience. Food should be enjoyable. You should love every bite. And my grandmother, oh my goodness, that woman was a magician in the kitchen. And she's a straight saint. Like, if my grandma didn't get into heaven, there is no hope for any of us. I'm just going to tell you all that right now. But I can't figure it out. I truly don't know what like, I'm going back through all my childhood memories. I have her handwritten caramel recipes. I have her like the instructions of what to do with the apple before you dip in the caramel. Like, I do all of it. And it's just not as good. And anybody that's had them, they're like, oh my God, these are amazing. And I'm like, yes, but they're not as good as my grandmother's. And I, for the life of me, don't know why. So I'm sorry that I cannot deliver my grandmother's caramel apples to people, because it would truly be, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself. The experience of her caramel apples was just it was phenomenal. That's really the only word I can put it to. And it's, yeah, sometimes we're all in a rush. I'm not saying that every time you eat it has to be like mind-blowing, but if for instance, like when I'm trying to cut, if I'm trying to like make weight for a competition or something, Grilled chicken and rice gets really old really fast. So make like chicken marsala or um oh gosh, it starts with a Z and I can't think of what it's called. Um but it's a different type of chicken. Jerk chicken is really good and surprisingly really healthy if you know where to make the tweaks. It's still flavorful and delicious. Make dirty rice. Make flavorful rice. Like why people are scared to put broth in their rice, I have no idea. Like yes, the sodium is high, but if you've been doing everything else right, you're going to need that sodium anyway. Oh my gosh, gumbo, jambalaya. You could literally make jambalaya with your chicken. Like there's so many options out there. And really, you can even take like boxed rice and you can just make a few tweaks and you have a completely different experience in front of you. Father Christopher Miller is here. Hello. How are you? Hello, Father. I do know why you hate the words Hocus Pocus. You actually informed me of this. I was not aware of their origin. But yes, Hocus Pocus actually, I'm going to get this wrong, Father. I know it mocks Catholicism. And they were like, oh, you're going to do all of that Hocus Pocus. And whatnot. So yes, I know why you hate it. I just can't remember the exact definition, right? I feel like I showed up for a test and didn't study. I shouldn't have clicked on your comment, Father. I apologize. I'll go do 5 Hail Marys. I'm sorry. Speaking of Hocus Pocus, however, we are here for, of course, a little bit of Nirvana back in the day before Disney went completely insane and lost their... I mean, they were already trending that way, but we're here to, of course, talk about good old Hocus Pocus. Now, I rewatched this show, and as an adult, there are so many things in this movie that I did not pick up on as a child. One of the first few things that we're gonna hit on. Hold on, I'm gonna highlight Southeastern Kaiju. Hey, how you doing? Yes, it is derogatory towards Catholicism. Thank you. See, look at this. It's an open book test. Father Miss Christopher Miller is here. He's giving us the answers. It mocks the words of consecration. Okay, yes. And so instead of saying it properly, what they are saying is Hocus Pocus. So yes, there is your answer. Now you know the origins of the words Hocus Pocus. Look at that. Disney was insulting Catholics even way back in the day. But I do know that Hocus Pocus, I believe probably largely in part to this film, is just widely accepted as something that like mages or witches would say, like Hocus Pocus Alakazam or something like that. So it's and for anybody that doesn't know, they're talking about the consecration of the body and blood of Christ. And oh, look at this. Father Christopher Miller's on it again. Ta-da! I mean, he would know these things. If anybody is going to know these things, it's the Latin words the priest prays over the bread and becomes the real so yeah, it's the body of Christ. Is what that's referring to. And it's a lot of... You have to excuse the video's outro. I don't know why I picked this trailer, but it was the clearest one, because shockingly, trailers that exist for this movie, they're not that great they're not that good of quality, which I was really kind of surprised about, frankly. But like I was saying, rewatched this and really truly the theme, the overall theme of this movie, really, it's a lot of stuff that I did not pick up on as a kid. There is a lot of talk about virgins and a lot of talk about sacrifice, child sacrifice. Like that's what, like, these women are literally sucking the souls out of children and sacrificing them so that they can be young and beautiful and stay alive, right? A virgin has to light the candle. And so what I will say, this particular film did well is usually when you're talking about a virgin in a story, it's like a girl dressed in white. And that's sort of how it's always kind of been approached. See, Disney, when they get out of their own way and they let writers write and they let producers produce and they let the story be the story, they didn't even realize they were already subverting tropes back in the day. They did it successfully. This is one of the best examples. This movie is one of the best examples of the subversion of a common, popular, well-known trope of, the virgin. Because when you hear, oh, a virgin needs to light the candle, you're like, oh, it's going to be a girl and she's going to be like pure of heart and she's going to be in white. No, this is like, he's a moody, irritating, maladjusted teenage boy who is lighting the candle. And it's done so well and it fits so seamlessly into the story. And he shakes it off. He's like, whatever, and then he lights the candle and boom, you've got witches straight from the Salem witch trials, basically, dropping in. And so it's really a very interesting approach. I like that it's him and it's not, his little sister or the girl he's crushing on. You know what I mean? Like it's he gets to be the catalyst for all of this, which means of course he gets all the blame. So, that's fine too. But yeah, I think that I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I think particularly when it comes to this movie, it did a really good job of subverting that trope and still giving you a satisfying story. Like it's not something like, it's not like he had to go hunt down something to light the candle with, or he had to like pass a purity test. The purity test is the candle. Like if you light it and you're a virgin, ta-da! And of course it's like the timeline all has to line up because you've got to light it on Halloween. The whole plot of the story. If a virgin lights the candle on All Hallows Eve, they will literally have that one day to basically, suck the souls out of children. Something else that happens in this movie that I was actually really happy to see, because it's a I don't know if it's common knowledge or not, but the idea, the reason that the witches, like, they're walking down the road, and remember, the sisters, like, she's like, I can smell children, but I don't see them anywhere. And of course the kids are running down the street and they're in masks and they're in costumes and they're trick-or-treating. And so you're now they can't see any children. And so where that actually comes from is the belief that the reason you would wear masks and dress up, and Father Miller can correct me on this if I'm inaccurate, but there's a couple different ones. The one that I know is to hide from like the spirits and the ghouls and the demons, because on Halloween, also known as the Day of the Dead, is when the barrier between the afterlife and like our world and the other worlds, like hell and afterlife and everything, is thinnest. So it's easier for these creatures of the night to like come out and break out and terrorize you. And so you would put on masks to hide yourself, and you would actually put candy out on your doorstep to try and appease some of these evil beings so that they would stay away. Another really popular one, and this is more, I've heard more Catholics talk about this one than anybody else, but it's to hide from Solomon Kane. And I think it's, so there's all of these different theories, but the hiding from the demons and putting the candy out to put the demons at bay, or to please them so that they leave them alone, is the one that I am the most familiar with. And so I really appreciated them throwing that in there, where they were like, I can smell all these children, but I can't see them. I thought that was a really awesome hat tip to the historical references surrounding Halloween. So there's all of this nuance, and there's an excellent subversion of a common trope. There is nuance. There is like they're tipping their hats to all of these historically accurate things regarding Halloween. And it does a really good job of not getting in its own way and telling a really good story. And you've got witches, and you've got zombies, and you've got spells. I can't think of anybody who doesn't like. My circle's not that big, but everybody knows the "Come Little Children" song. And when Bette Midler, this scene right here where she does "I Put a Spell on You," like, are some of the more iconic scenes out of this movie. But it's so fun to watch, and it's really refreshing to see them have fun, like, and still deliver. Like, it's a spooky performance. Like, again, they're sucking the souls out of children and enjoying it. And they are they're obsessed with remaining young and obviously staying alive. They have until the sun comes up. And I really do love I love that they're the Sanderson sisters, but they, like, I can't remember the line exactly. She's like, "How did I end up with such idiot sisters?" And then one of the other ones is like, "Just lucky, I guess." Like, it doesn't click that it's an insult. I want to say that Mary is the one that says that she's just lucky. I know Bette Midler is obviously Winifred, and you've got Sarah Jessica Parker is Sarah, which I always thought was funny. And then I love Kathy Najimy. She is just one of my favorite actresses. I love her, especially in like Sister Act. And then like, she's just so boisterous and fun. And like, when she's on screen, she has like this, it's a presence. Like, she has this presence, and you just want to look at her because she can turn it on and off, which is amazing. She can try, like, she can stay quiet and sort of blend into the background, but when she flips that switch and she turns it on, like, everything changes for the better. It's so much fun. She's so much fun to watch. She's so boisterous and hilarious, and I really do love her. I'm pretty sure she's the one. Mary Sanderson is the one who says, "Just lucky, I guess." And then, of course, you've got Thackeray. Now, I don't know how many other people thought his name was Zachary, but I was for sure that I was hearing the name incorrectly. I'm like, my ears must just be broken, because obviously his name is Zachary. No, it's Thackeray. And I love that he is a black cat, but he is working against the witches. He's not some evil omen or evil spirit. He's actually, he was a loving, protective older brother. He tried to save his little sister. He failed. And so now he's promised to guard Danny and to look after Danny and not let what happened to his little sister Emily, he's not going to let that happen again. And he's not to anyone, but specifically Danny. He and Danny grow really close. They have this nice, sweet bond. She absolutely loves him. She wants to keep him. She wants to take care of him. She loves that he can talk. And of course, you've got Allison and Max, who Max is clearly in love with Allison. Allison is, she's this rich, nice girl, really popular at school. And she's like, "Hey, he's kind of different. He's like, I could give it we can talk." And so she's a little bit slower to like warm up. But their chemistry is really good. I really enjoy watching the two of them interact, especially when it comes to Danny, because again, like, through all of this, like, the witches are chasing all of them. The witches have it in for all of them. And they're most worried about Danny. Now, granted, she's the easiest one to kidnap, and she is the one that they kidnap. Because you learn that, a child's soul is obviously like there's more pure. Again, it's that same trope, the pure soul, the children, everything like that, and but she's still able, like Max is still technically a child, Allison is still technically a child, but of course they're going after Danny, and I find it interesting that Sarah and Mary try to convince Winifred, like, look, we have all of these children here, let's just suck some of their souls, and she's like, well, there's only enough for one now that the potion's been spilled. Okay, well, let's just pick one of these children. Nope, I want them. And then of course this is interesting where, she casts the spell and they're hung and they come back with the lighting of the black candle. But the special effects in this movie are just, they're so good because it's a lot of practical effects. And the few times that, you see Winifred use like her lightning or anything like that, or they don't make it ridiculous. Like she makes it really playful. And then just goes like cruel. Like she is a psychopath. I mean, they're all psychopaths, which is of course the whole point. But Winifred really just like, she has fun torturing people with her magic. So it doesn't come off as like cheesy or ill done. She's clearly like, she's powerful. She's letting you know she's powerful, and it's something that she doesn't have to make a big show about. She literally just gets straight to the point. And then let's see. I'm trying to think some of my favorite scenes. Obviously, when they're at the dance and the Sanderson sisters get up there and that freaking song, they just nail it. It's so much fun. I also love the first time that Thackeray gets run over and then he comes back to life, and like Max and like they're just looking at him and he's like, I told you I can't die. And so like they're having to adjust to the fact that Thackeray literally got flattened and walked away. What a miserable existence that must have been, though. Like, and he even talks about how he wishes he could die and he just can't. And yeah, Thackeray's story is just really tragic. He does, at the end, he gets to say his goodbyes and his soul gets freed and he gets to go find his little sister. And it's really sweet, but also just like so sad. But it's an interesting balance. It's like an interesting dynamic because the Sanderson sisters are chasing immortality and Thackeray is literally trying to get away from it. And then you've got of course the humans are all in a trance because Sarah is singing and trying to bring them all to them. That's I do like that song a lot. I think it's actually pretty ingenious because remember here they go into a graveyard and the witches can't go onto hallowed ground, but they're able to fly above it. I thought that was again the trope of the hallowed ground. They find like they subvert that. They find the way around it. They can fly above it. And it must be, I kind of wish this movie, like granted it's a relatively short movie and there wouldn't have been a whole lot of time to do it, but it would have been interesting. They sort of do it when like the witches come up to the road for the first time and they're like a black river that you can walk on, like they're stunned by the road and by the cars, but they adjust very quickly. And granted, they only have they've got the one night to do this. So obviously time is not on their side. They have to adjust quickly. But it would have been interesting to see what modern technology would have been more surprising to them, especially like all of the houses. because, Max does the burning rain of death, which I always thought was great. He just starts the sprinkler system, and I always giggle at that part. But, they're like, the burning rain of death, run, run. And of course, we know it's the sprinkler system. And it's, so you have those little bits in there. I just think it would have been funny because he used it once, but of course they lock them in the furnace at the school and they crank up the fire and it does nothing. They just come out, a little crispy. But otherwise unharmed. But yeah, I think, electricity should have been a bit more shocking to them, in my humble opinion. But again, I think this movie's like 90 minutes, which, is yeah. Friend of Sarah Connor, hello. And you're right, it's about a 90-minute, I think it's 88 minutes. And yeah, it's that is the perfect runtime for me. But if we're going to be on, like, with this, especially it's supposed to be like a family kids Halloween show, I don't think they could have made it any longer. So for what it is, they did really good. But you got to remember, they came from pitchforks and torches and like thatch roofs to now everybody is living in these incredible houses. There's lights, there's cars, there's indoor plumbing, there's like even the clothing of the time. And again, it's Halloween, so people were dressed up and all that. But it's still, I feel like there should have been maybe a bit more shock to their systems, but that's just me. Raj Williams, yeah, Thackeray is Tim McGee on NCIS. Yes, he is. Also, sad news. We're going to pivot just slightly for a brief moment. Gibbs has officially announced, Mark Hamill, who plays Gibbs, has officially announced that after almost 2 decades, he is going to be leaving the show. NCIS is dead, folks. I mean, I sort of lost interest after Tony and Ziva left, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. But now that Gibbs is leaving, like, it is very dead. All dead. Dead. Not mostly dead. Miracle Max. It's all dead. Go look for the loose change in his pockets. But yeah, back to Hocus Pocus. Again, outside of the fact that it directly mocks Catholicism, the show itself is actually really entertaining. The characters are well balanced. It's a very good show. The plot makes sense. It's a good time. It's a good 90-minute, 88, whatever it is, Halloween movie. I would recommend that your kids maybe be a little bit older because, like I said, there was a lot of material in here that even though I didn't pick up on it as a kid, now going back as an adult and listening to it, there's a lot of obsession with virginity and virgins and sacrifice, specifically child sacrifice. So there's a lot of stuff in here that maybe the kids won't pick up on, but they probably don't need to really be watching anyway. A lot of the nuance, a lot of the stuff is going to be lost on them. But, again, it's still going to be entertaining. It's pretty fast paced and everything like that. And it was, yeah, I would say maybe like 9 or 10, maybe even 11 would probably be like, I mean, if you have kids or your kids, do what you want. Like like I said, the music in here is freaking phenomenal. But just like knowing the material that's in here, Disney got away with a lot of stuff. They pushed a lot of boundaries back then. And it surprises me. I mean, surprise is the wrong word, but to see how far they've fallen and boundaries that they refuse to push now that they pushed all the time back in the day. You know what I mean? So that's kind of sad to see. But, I would definitely recommend this movie to really anybody that loves Halloween or loves fall and enjoys sort of that upbeat jaunty, but still the stakes are really high because you have to understand that that's the thing here. At the end, Max, he drinks the potion. Like he makes that sacrifice. He takes his sister's place. Cuz he's literally willing to die for his sister. Which is just like that's a whole the sibling dynamic in this movie is fantastic because he's clearly like, oh, Danny, you're so annoying. Like, get off, like typical teenage angst stuff. But when it comes down to it, he is her big brother and he will do anything he can to keep her safe and to make sure that she's protected. So he really loves Danny. And of course, Danny adores Max, looks up to him, like borderline worships the ground he walks on. Like, yeah, she makes fun of him and mocks him and is like this, that, like da 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 da. But like she truly loves her brother and just wants him to like have fun with her like they used to. She even says it. She's like, come on, Max, like we used to. And he's like, fine. Like very begrudgingly. But it's at the end, you see what he's actually made of. He's not, they were literally running away from the witches to bide time. They were just trying to get to sunrise. That was the whole point. Stay alive until the sun rises. Don't let them suck anybody's soul, and the witches will be gone. That was their goal. And when that goal changed because they couldn't escape the witches for long enough, Max stepped in front of his sister. He was like, no, I'm not letting you do this. He was that right there, that traditional masculinity. I love to see it. I love everything about it. I love to watch it. I love to hear about it. I love big brother protecting little sister. If it's little brother who turns into a little big brother protecting his sister, it's a trope that never gets old. It can be done in so many different ways. And Max was terrified. Like he's not look at him. He's a kid himself. He's not a fighter. He's not mature. He's not a man, but he sees his sister and he's like, no, I'm not going to let you do this to her. And it's just, I love the family dynamic in this. And I love that the mom and dad, like they're at the Halloween party having fun. And of course the kids run to mom and dad to try and get help. And the mom and dad, of course, they fall under the spell. But at first they're concerned and they're like, what are you doing here? Like, how can we help you? And then it's like, oh no, you're fine. You're fine. And then as the parents get put under the spell, the kids realize that they have to now save their parents too. So the stakes have been raised because it's one thing to be like, hey, we just have to dodge these witches and not let them get the book and not let them make the potion so that they can't suck anybody's soul and we'll be fine. Well, then the book gets taken and Danny gets taken. So now you have, now the goal has shifted from stay alive until sunrise to we have to get the book back and we have to save Danny. And we have to stop them from sucking the souls out of all these other children. And then when they accomplish that task, it's let's get to this hallowed ground and we'll be safe. And then when that safety measure fails, and it's Max and the witches, and he freaking steps up to the plate and knocks it out of the freaking park. So I think it's also a good cautionary tale to not screw around with dark powers. I have no idea how many. I don't have a TikTok, but I do hear about some TikTok trends. And of course, we are in the month of October. Why in God's name are people picking up Ouija boards? Like Ouija boards. There we go. Ouija boardsies. That's not a word. Ouija boards. Like, why is that becoming a thing? Why? Like, somebody answer that for me. Why are you screwing around? Why are you opening doors that you can't close? Because here's the thing. If you actually believe a Ouija board does what it says it does, why are you screwing around with it? because then that means you believe that it is opening portals, however small stuff. I'm telling you right now, even tiny holes, stuff can get through them. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, like, what a daddy long leg or even a tarantula, the tiny little holes that they can get into and like break through. But stuff, like, it doesn't matter how small the hole is, stuff can get out. So you're opening doorways to these other worlds that you can't close. And if you don't believe that a Ouija board can do what it says it can do, why are you screwing around with it? It accomplishes nothing, and you think the whole thing is ridiculous, and you don't believe in it. So why even bother pick it up? But no, let's go tempt fate and mess with dark forces and play with the Ouija board. Like, why, people? Why? Get off the TikTok. It rots your soul. Just stop it. I don't understand. It confuses and terrifies me. Because usually, like, I'm going to save that comment for the end of the stream, and when I make that comment, you'll understand why I saved it for the end of the stream. So I'm going to put a pin in that comment, and we'll come back to it. When we get to the end of the stream in about 15, 20 minutes or so, just say, like, pin in the comment section, so I'm like, oh, that's right, that's that comment. But yes, Ouija board's bad. Hocus Pocus mocks Catholicism, for everybody that didn't know. And this movie is actually pretty good and subverts a few tropes really well and shows strong familial bonds and really, like, pure, strong, traditional masculinity. And you love to see it. Really quick, over on the donation side, thank you everybody who sent in messages. So we have Cal G for $2. Said, just here to show support, and yep, pumpkin spice latte is overrated. It's just a basic girl magnet. God bless. Cal G, thank you for the $2. And all right, I will say, like, I don't know that pumpkin spice latte, I don't actually know what a basic girl is, because if you talk to different people, the definition changes. So some people are like, oh, basic girls are like blondes, like, I think they say it's like bottle blondes who wear these certain outfits and do these certain things and are always doing these same trends or whatever. And then you talk to somebody else who might be in a different region, and it's like, oh, they're the girls who walk around in their Oakleys and their shorts and their crop tops with, like, the really high platform tennis shoes. So I'm not really sure what basic girl means. If I'm going to be completely honest, everybody's like, oh, you're so basic. Like, I mean, if you were born with XX chromosomes, the basic makeup is, like, you are a girl on the base level. So, I mean, like, I guess at heart, we're all basic girls. I don't know. Mexican Iron Man for $10. Hello, Mexican Iron Man. I have missed you. How are you? We need to stream sometime soon. Mexican Iron Man, I'm listening to you while in tax season hell. Oh, that's right, quarterlies. I'm so sorry. Oh, and it is the federal fiscal year. That sucks, bro. I'm sorry. So proud of you and your channel. Wishing you the best and cheering you on, my Lady G. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Mexican Iron Man. I love you. I appreciate the support. Thank you so, so much for being here. I'm having a lot of fun with these live streams. I am finding out that I am a very nitpicky editor when it comes to videos, but I have got so much, like, when I get them where I want them, you guys are going to have, like, a plethora of, you're gonna get sick of the amount of content that I put out for like 2 weeks straight. You're gonna be like, oh my God, this is too many videos. It's gonna be like 2 or 3 videos a day. Y'all are gonna be like, stop, it's too much. But I just have so much happens, and I have so much to say. And quite frankly, everybody's like, oh, that's such old news. Like, okay, but I'm not here for relevance. I'm here, like, to say this is my opinion on this, or this is why I'm here. So I'm gonna do my thing, and hopefully, even if people don't like it, they'll be like, that's an interesting opinion, or, maybe they learned something, or maybe they'll just hate on me in the comments. That's fine too. Thank you for the algorithm bump. I appreciate it. Raj Williams for $10. Thank you, Raj. Says for the apple pie and cider fund, Lady G. Ah, thank you. Yes, we love the apple pie and we love the cider. Southeastern Kaiju for $2 says, grr, R. Are you angry at a pirate? Are you an angry pirate? Are you an angry Southeastern Kaiju pirate? I'm just kidding. I know who you are pretending to be. Why can't I think of his name? Billy. You're pretending to be Billy. That's who it is. Billy? I knew who you were trying to be. Doo-da, doo-da. But yeah, it's oh. LOL, angry zombie pirate. Hey, you know what? Whatever works. I mean, Billy is kind of an angry zombie pirate, so it works. But yeah, I have to say one of my other favorites. So it's with this particular film, I think everybody can agree that the costumes for the witches are phenomenal. They really sort of set the tone of everything. And I love that you get that juxtaposition between the modern world clothing, especially with Max and Allison, because Danny is of course in her witch outfit. And she even tries to pretend for a minute when the witches come up that she's like a sister witch, and they're like, "Yeah, no, we're not buying that." But you know, I love when you've got the juxtaposition of the witches outfits to modern apparel. But it fits, and like nobody's going to look at these witches twice because it's Halloween, of course. Everybody dresses up for Halloween. So you know, it's really interesting to see. I think oh, you know what? I know I said earlier that they didn't do enough with modern technology, but I am remembering when the way that they like rescue Danny is Max tricks them into thinking that Carlight high beams is sunrise. So that is pretty like I'm not going to lie, they are Max is very what's the word? Not ingenious. I mean, it is a pretty ingenious plan to use the car high beams as sunrise. Resourceful. There's the word. He's very resourceful when it comes to protecting his sister and his family and like the world, quite frankly. Like he's not really that's the thing. Max isn't fighting for the world. He's fighting for his sister. He like I'm not saying he doesn't care about the world, but to him it would be sort of the same as Thackeray. You know, if Danny were to die, it wouldn't matter how many others he saved because Danny would already be dead. So it's just really interesting to see how all of these different dynamics and relationships and character arcs and character building work, because Max comes a long way from when he was a kid, and or from the beginning of the movie, like when like I mean he's still a kid, but from the beginning of the film to the end of the film, he definitely like his arc is really impressive, and he's still scared. Like at the end of the film, he is still scared. Like Billy grabs him. I think it's even in this trailer. Billy grabs him, and he thinks that Billy's going to kill him. Yeah, right there. And then of course Billy just cuts his mouth open to yell at Winifred, and say some very choice words that I guess he's been waiting a long time to say. But the suspense is there, the comedy is there, the love is there. This movie really does have a good balance of everything. It's so much fun to watch. It really is. I don't know. It's even today, by today's standards, a lot of like, especially with the witches flying and floating in the air, it does it better than some other modern day films that I've seen, quite frankly. you can tell that a lot of care went into the set design and the costume design and really every aspect of this movie. And it has become a worldwide phenomenon, and I know that there keep being rumors that Hocus Pocus 2 is going to be being made. I don't know if that's true or not anymore because I thought it was, and then it was like, okay, but consider the source. And there was just a lot of there's a lot of doubt surrounding whether or not there's going to actually be a Hocus Pocus 2. And quite frankly, there doesn't need to be a Hocus Pocus 2. Disney needs to well, Disney needs a lot of things. First and foremost is to release Marvel and Lucasfilm from their destructive claws. And then like fire everybody. And then hire based on talent. But what are the odds of that happening? Let's be quite frank and real here. But overall, I would say Hocus Pocus is probably 7 out of 10, maybe 6.5, 7 out of 10. For me, as far as just a movie. For a Halloween movie, I'd say it's probably like an 8.5 out of 10. It just does a really good job with everything, and it's so much fun. The pacing is perfect. The cast is phenomenal. There's so much to love in this movie, and there's very few things to really complain about. Because again, there was a lot of care put into this movie, and it is a lot of fun. But it does have some glaring issues. Like, okay, if the witches told you the way to bring them back is lighting this candle, why would you not just destroy the candle? You know what I mean? Like, you can melt candle wax down. You don't have to light the candle to melt candle wax. I'm just saying. You could have put it in a pot over the fire, melted the candle wax down, pulled the wick out, and then like poured the wax into a river or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, the witches literally told you how to come back. Also, I'm not sure, like, obviously the book is magic. It even opens its eye at the end of the movie. But so the book is protected and everything like that, but like, why would you preserve it in a case? And why would you not like destroy the witch's house either? Like, why was all of this left to stand? And yes, I know the intro, they're going over the history of Salem and why certain things are the way that they are. And, legend has it, like, okay, yeah, but if you wanted to leave the house standing just to keep a legend alive, then why is it not a museum? Like, why isn't it better cared for? Why isn't it a more popular museum destination? And yeah, you go in and it's got all the knickknacks and everything in there because it used to be. But like, what? I'm just saying, you could have buried the book in a graveyard and you could have melted the candle. I cannot be the only one that saw that issue, right? And I mean, Max was just being an angsty, dismissive, disrespectful teenage boy when he lit the candle. But I guarantee you, if Allison and Danny had walked out, Max would have followed him. He didn't want to be left there. It's just, I don't know. Like, also, if Thackeray was able to protect that candle for 200 years, why did he fit? Like, how did you fail with Zach? There's literally no one else there. You do a jump scare one time, but like, that's it. Like, what is he been doing for 200 years that he kept everybody else away from the candle in the book? And of course, he didn't know that the candle had to be lit, and then they had to destroy the Sanderson sisters so he could be released from his curse. But still, it's, you know what I mean? You were the only one, Lady Grace. Seriously? Like, nobody else was like, maybe we should destroy this candle, like, immediately and bury the book somewhere. I'm just saying. Like, evil tends to have a way to try and surface. It wants to be found, it wants to be used, because it seeks to destroy and consume and create chaos. It's evil. That's what it does. But I can't be the only one that saw that flaw. 200 years and nobody thought, maybe we get rid of the candle. I'm just saying. But Chris, couldn't they have cut the candle in half and burnt the book? I don't know if you can burn. The book is protected, so I don't know if you could burn the book, but you can most definitely cut that candle in half. And you could certainly pull the wick out. If there's no wick, there's no flame. So that also begs the question, because Max's fire was yellow before he lit the wick of that candle, and then it turned black. So is the wick what's enchanted, or is it the candle? Because it makes it seem like the candle is enchanted and the wick is just part of it. But I don't know. Interesting. Too logical. The solution made too much sense. Dude, I'm just saying, it's the truth. Historical homes, if they don't have a foundation or government funds to maintain it, will naturally deteriorate. Exactly. Like, why wasn't this location gutted and demolished long ago? Because it's a rickety old house. But I don't know. Freddy Krueger versus the Hocus Pocus witches. I don't know. It's two very different kinds of villains. They're both psychopaths, though. To destroy such artifacts, don't you have to know how they were made to undo it? That is a general rule, especially in like supernatural horror and supernatural fantasy. You have to know the means of creation in order to destroy it or deconstruct it. But that is an excellent point. Though I think if you melted down the candle wax, you'd be pretty safe. But I could be wrong. Honestly, I would feel bad to destroy a 200-year-old candle. I suppose I could see it, but like what I'm talking about is when the villagers were told how the witches were going to return. So they would have had, I don't understand why the villagers didn't burn the house. You know what I mean? Like, why didn't they destroy the candle, and why didn't they burn down the house? Like, why did the villagers leave this standing? That it confuses me, especially because their house was left standing while all the rest of Salem was able to grow and modernize and build. Like all those other homes got destroyed, so why not the witch's home? You know what I mean? And granted, I suppose you could say that it was protected by magic or something like that, but they never tell us that, and it's never inferred. So you're having to sort of make up that headcanon to justify it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I can see why you would feel bad destroying a 200-year-old art. Like, I'd feel bad about that for sure. But I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't make sense to me that the villagers would not have basically gutted the witch's home and then burnt it to the ground and then either hidden the book in the candle or tried to destroy them or something like that. You know what I mean? But that is apparently not as glaring of plot holes as I thought they were, considering apparently I'm the only one that saw it. But yeah, it is a fun movie, and I know we're not really going for historical accuracy. I do like the scene where the guy that's dressed up as the devil, right there, and they're like, Master! And so that's telling you, like, without coming out and saying that, hey, we are really, like, they're calling the devil their master. So you know that they're evil. Without a doubt, no matter how much they laugh and giggle, and no matter how sweet their voices are, like, they are pure evil. So Chris Persia said, I'm guessing the candle itself was enchanted, considering at the time candles were made from tallow. How much more evil than using the fat from the witch's victims to make an evil candle? That is an excellent point. I had not considered that. But again, you know, the villagers I just don't see the villagers not trying to destroy the book and the candle. And then when that was unsuccessful, hiding them or burying them or something like that. You know what I mean? But hey, the story is what it is. It is a lot of fun. It's a great Halloween movie. It's got its upbeat moments, it's got its scary moments. The cast is wonderful. The costumes are great. The score is, I wouldn't say the score is not phenomenal, but for what this movie is and what it does for the show, the score is very well done. So yeah. Like I said, for overall movie wise, it's a 6.5 or a 7, and as a Halloween movie, it's an 8.5 out of 10. And yeah, I really do enjoy this movie. It's a good fun short watch. But we're winding down. I'm gonna keep it short today. But the interesting thing, like thank you so much everybody for coming. I love talking to all of you guys. It's so much. It means so much that you guys are here, that you guys spend time watching me and talk about, you know, just good old fun and good old movies. So yes, I put a pin in a comment from before. But okay, so it has to do with family bonds and fighting monsters and everything like that. So I think that one of the best movies, you know, I'm gonna cover this movie next week, and it falls into horror, but it is also like an adventure. And it is one of my favorite movies of all time, if not my favorite movie. If you guys have been following me over on Twitter at all, you will not be surprised to hear that the movie that I am going to review next week is The Mummy, with Brendan Fraser. I love that movie. It is so good, and it fits into the MonsterVerse so well. It's terrifying. That movie gave me nightmares for weeks, and it was like it. Brendan Fraser. We need more of him. He and Keanu Reeves just need to like take over Hollywood. I am not even kidding. Keanu Reeves is just like too good for this world, and Brendan Fraser, like when you hear what these men have done and like what they do, it's for like just for random strangers and what they've done for their cast members and everything like that. Now, of course, the Mummy I'm referring to is from 1999. It's not the original. I'm trying to remember when the original, I want to say, is like 1930s, which is also a terrifying movie. It basically, it and Dracula and Frankenstein's monster, like they spawned the MonsterVerse. But the Mummy, the 1999 Mummy is the one that I'm going to be covering. And when I was little, this movie scared the ever loving bejesus out of me. Like, the bugs specifically, the scarabs, just like everything about this movie. It's suspenseful, it's adventurous, it's exciting, and I really love this movie. It's also terrifying and fits into Halloween, and I don't care what anybody says. You can watch this movie at any time. But yeah, this movie is freaking fantastic. It hits so many horror tropes Like that, right? Like, oh my God, the Rising of the Dead. Like, the amount of horror that is tastefully done in this movie is actually shocking. And it's just this is enough. Like, this movie is. I'll review it next week. Like I said, we'll be covering the Mummy, 1999 Mummy, next week. So that is what is on the agenda, and I may or may not have a friend with me. 1932 Boris Karloff movie is the black and white. Yes, 19. I knew it was a 1930 movie. So yes, the original The Mummy is also terrifying. Like, the horror movies used to be so good. They were so, like, it was really truly, you were afraid because it was this otherworldly being. It was this this entity, this powerful entity, and you didn't really know how to kill it or destroy it or stop it. You know what I mean? And like, it rather than it, okay, here is my, I am not a modern horror fan. I love classic horror. But like, slasher films don't do it for me, yo. Like, I don't like modern horror. It's really dependent on like blood and guts and gore. You know what I mean? And if you watch The Blob, for example, or the 1932 Mummy, or Wolfman, or any like a classic horror film, did people die? Yes, people did die. But there wasn't all of this gore. It was like psychologically terrifying. It was suspenseful. It was thrilling. It had you, like, you didn't know what was safe. You didn't know where you were going to be safe. You didn't know if you could ever be safe again. And you didn't, like I said, you didn't know how to stop this thing. And so the goal becomes, okay, to survive, we need to find a way to kill it or conceal it or bear, like, we have to find a way to stop it. It's, yes, I'm saying horror because I can say that word, but I'm also going to enunciate horror because otherwise it can sound like a different word. Haha, Southeastern Kaiju. I see you. I see you over there making fun of me. I ain't worried. I ain't scared. I mean, I'm scared of, like, normal. But yeah, anyway, like, modern horror, it's jump scares and knife slashes. And I'm not saying that that's not scary, but like in Scream, for example, like, yeah, Scream is a good example. You're more terrified, like, it's actually less terrifying finding the dead body than it is wondering who the next dead body is going to be, or where the next, like, where is this monster going to jump out of next. The Shining is not an over, like, there's gore in that book. It's also a movie. Sorry, I've read the plot. I'd love to read. But like The Shining, there's gore in that movie, but it's not anywhere close. Like, even Jaws. You can't tell me Jaws is not a horror film. I will fight you on, like, someone tried to tell me that Jaws was like an adventure movie, and I was like, I don't think we watched this. Are you sure you watched Jaws? Like, the one with the big shark that's eating people. But like, Jaws, it was really because it's this enormous shark. You knew, like, you saw your doom coming. That's going to be the worst. Like, when you can see your fate coming towards you and you can do nothing about it. Oh, that is psychologically, you break. Fight me, lady. Okay, let's go. I'll rumble. I'll be surprised if, hey, you know what? If you can make it 3 rounds with me, I'll be stunned. Truly, truly stunned. Let's go. I'm just kidding. But Jaws is a horror film for sure. Yeah, we need a bigger boat. We do need a bigger boat. Absolutely. Yes. The score, Jaws' score is brilliant in its simplicity, because if you think about it, the plot of the film is really quite simple. It's almost like, and I've heard this comparison before. They're like, it's a horror version of Moby Dick. And oh god dang it, look at that. Chris Perza just put it in the chat. Yeah, it's yes. So like it is a it is an homage to Moby Dick, but it takes care of it. The horror elements and those aspects are just phenomenal. And the simplicity of the film itself, with this giant shark that is terrorizing people. Like, you're over here like, why don't you just stay out of the water? Like, why don't you know? But like, that means like the shark then has control. Like, the shark is now ruling your lives. You know what I mean? And so it's a simple it is a simple concept that is executed so beautifully and so perfectly, and that is even reflected in the scoring of the movie, that it is damn near perfection. Like, it's so brilliant. Like, that's the thing. You don't have to, I don't know what it is with you don't need to have a movie that's like Inception or Memento or something like that to like blow your audience's mind. If you can execute your intentions and you can execute your plot thoughtfully, provokingly, and well, the people will be there. Like, you will have your audience. The bird, yes, Creepy Critters, you are absolutely correct. The Birds is a phenomenal horror movie. The movie, I still hate seeing large flocks of birds, like, which sucks, of course, during migration periods. But I'm just like, yeah, I don't. Nope. We're gonna pass. But yeah, like, it's these are horror movies that they're not trying to shock and awe you with the blood and the gore and the slashing and the stuff like. And I've noticed another thing in a lot of modern horror, I'm just gonna call them what they are, slasher films, is the buildup does not match the payoff. So if you remember from last week, I was going to choose between either Hocus Pocus or Jeepers Creepers for tonight. And obviously I went with Hocus Pocus. And I did that for a couple of reasons. One, because Hocus Pocus doesn't terrify me as much as Jeepers Creepers. Like, I know that it's October and it's like, you're supposed to get, like, there is something, I can watch all of the Halloween movies. I can watch Nightmare on Elm Street. I can watch those horror movies. They're not my like absolute favorite, but I can watch them. Jeepers Creepers. When you get to the end of the movie and you've been like listening to that song and you're like, Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Okay, hopefully we don't get struck for that. But you know what I mean? Like, basically the whole movie was leading up to the horrifying ending. And yeah, it was gory, but like, it made sense because of what he was attempting to do. You know what I mean? And so like, just when you think that they've saved them, or that everybody is safe, or that they've managed to defeat Jeepers Creepers, you're like, oh my god, no. And then the end comes and you're like, oh my god, what? And so that movie, see, like, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies just talking about that, the small parts of it. So there are good horror movies out there. It's just that modern horror, like, oh gosh, what's the one? They go Hostel, I think is what it's called, right? Where like you can pay for people you don't like to be like tortured to death in a very specific way or something like that. And again, that's it. The concept of it was pretty scary. They're like, oh my god, like they're doing this and they're able to pull this off, and like, oh my gosh, this, that, and the other. So you still have like the sort of psychological element there, but it I don't know. For me, when I compare that to like Jeepers Creepers, it's not this like I said before, the buildup did not match the payoff. The payoff didn't match the buildup. So with horror, it like I don't just want if mindless horror is what you're after, then slasher films are for you, basically. But when I watch a horror film, I'm watching them because I want to be scared, not grossed out. You know what I mean? Like I want the sound of like, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to hear this. Hang on. Let me see if I can find something, anything. Here we go. This. Here we go. Yeah. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but that was my nails on against wood. So, like that gets into you're just like, oh my god, what is that? You know what I mean? Like they're psychologically screwing with you. Like they're dragging their nail across the like. I guess against metal more so because you get like that really high pitched like, you know what I mean? And then so talking about scores that can be executed like perfectly, I love when they're like descending. First of all, why the hell are you going in the dark basement? Somebody answer that for me, please. I don't understand. What is ASMR? ASMR? I don't know what that acronym stands for. A sound much. Right? I don't know what that stands for. I'm sorry. Is that a genre? I don't know. I'm gonna. Yes! Turn on the light. And if the light doesn't turn on, GTFO. See, I know what that acronym means. Like, get out. Get out of the house. Run away. Go far, far away. All the way away. Get lost. Like, why are you going into a dark basement with a flashlight that has low battery? No! Stop it! You're just being dumb. Like, and I'm like, but I also love it because I'm like yelling at I'm like, don't do it! Don't go into the basement! You know what I mean? So like, I love those horror films where also like if you don't find out what's happening to everybody until the end, and then you just see like the bodies stacked up, or you see them like sucked into this other being or something like that. Where it's like, where's all my friends disappearing to? And then like it gets revealed that they've all been either absorbed by this creature or all of like they're all in this like whatever type of like they've all been hidden in the walls or something like that. They've been killed and taken away. And so like you don't know if they're dead or if they're kidnapped or like what's going on. So you're like, okay, maybe I need to like hunt them like maybe I can go rescue them. You know what I mean? And hang on, Southeastern Kaiju. Autonomous sensory meridian response. I'm just gonna call it nails on a chalkboard. Thank you, though, Southeastern Kaiju. I am glad that I now know it. I hope I don't forget it. I probably will, if we're going to be completely honest. But now I know that I know it. So hopefully, if someone asks me, I can be like, oh, it's this. Thank you, Southeastern Kaiju. I don't remember the whole thing. But yeah, I just call it nails on a chalkboard. But you know what I mean? Like, the suspense of... And also, I love the classic fake out of where, especially if it's like a woman, and you know that if she's going up against someone like Michael Myers or something like that, she's got this rinky-dink little knife, but she, like, her fight or flight has, like, kicked in, and she's like, okay, well, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go fighting. Like, I am not letting this thing get me or my friends if I can stop it. And so like then they come around the corner like screaming or yelling, and then it's like their friend, and they're like, oh, okay. Um, there are full on YouTube channels on it. That's cool. I don't seek those sounds out. Like I want those types of things in my horror film because it's like a psychological torment. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm not gonna actively seek out nails on a chalkboard for by any means. Um, well, lady, they have to, or the movie doesn't happen. Listen, Sultan, they don't have to go down into the creepy, dark basement or the creepy, dark. Why is the attic always dark? And like, it's at the top of the house with a window. Why is it always dark up there? You know what I mean? Like, also, air filters are a thing. Throw one up in the attic. It's always dusty and moldy and cobwebby. Like, let's get a good housekeeping magazine up there. See what we can do. You know what I'm saying? I have gone off on so many tangents, but it's fun. Like, it's fine. So, yes, The Mummy 1999 is what I will be reviewing next week, and I may or may not have a friend with me. It's a fetish thingy, in my opinion. Nails on a chalkboard is a fetish. That's a new one. Hey, you know what? If you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, you do you, I guess. Like I said, I'm not going to go hunt that out. Like, if it's in my horror film, it's in the context of the horror film, so it makes sense. You know what I mean? But there's certain... Okay, so I won't, like, bore you all with all of the details, but if you've heard me talk on some other live streams, you know that I've done music and choir for a really, really long time. There are keys that are meant to, like, make your back shiver. You know what I mean? Like, it's meant to, like, cause that conflict or that clash in your soul. And any composer or conductor or director or producer worth their salt is going to know that. And if there's a specific, like, one of my favorite things is when you have a character in a film and they're acting really good and they're acting really nice and they're being super helpful, but like the score slightly changes and it shifts into that key. And so you don't really pick up on it, but for some reason, like, every time that they're on, like, that character is like speaking or, you know, is in the focus, you're like, why am I getting this sensation? And then, like, everything gets revealed and you're like, holy crap, I knew it. So, like, there are certain chords and keys and notes that are meant to sort of cause that thing. You know what it, like, to that, like, it's to tap into your sixth sense, basically, and be like, run away. Lady Gravemaster is so innocent. What did I say? That is nails on a chalkboard not a fetish? I don't know. Because it's evil. Yes. I don't know what we're saying is evil, but if we're talking about horror films, then yes, there's probably an element of evil in there. So it's, yeah, I think that, you know, it's really good. Horror is also not going to be a genre that I'm going to seek out regularly. I have to really be in the mood to, like, be terrified out of my mind. And the other thing too that a lot of horror films do is they'll give you that, like, like, that open-ended resolution, and I'm putting that in air quotes. Oh, the attic is evil. Well, I'm sure Flowers in the Attic definitely supports that. I don't know what it is about attics, but attics and basements, I tell you what, it's never like, you know, the parlor on the first floor unless you're playing Clue. Like, it's always the basement or the attic or the secret passageway in the library. You know what I mean? But hey, I love keep those tropes coming. They obviously, people love them. But yeah, I'm not gonna actively seek out horror, especially not, like, I've said, not a modern day horror. But I am still gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy myself, and um, a good scary film can definitely be enjoyable, especially if you want an excuse to like jump into a boy's lap or something like that, or like hold his hand. You know what I mean? That's always good too. I never did that, but I heard that it's a really good segue into like that type of thing. Um, but yeah, basically, if I don't want to watch a movie, I just say I'm not going to watch it, and then I leave the room. There is a genre of horror film that I do not watch. And I don't think Father Christopher Miller is still here, but if he was, and if he's listening to this on the replay, I think he would agree with me that the stuff like Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist, like that is not my. I don't watch like the possession stuff. Nope, that is a hard no for me. Like, nope, 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 no, no, double no. Like I don't. I don't. You guys heard what I said about Ouija boards earlier. I'm yeah, possession. I don't think the devil should be used as entertainment. I'm sure that that's going to confuse some people, but like, yeah, possession is so not my thing. Like I don't do the possession horror. It like, yikes. You know what I mean? It's now, if you want to do like Book of Revelations, if you're trying to like portray a Bible story, I guess it's one thing. But when you're using the possession itself as entertainment, it's, to me, that's similar to messing with dark forces that you don't really need to be messing with. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I don't, yeah, Antichrist stuff is not my jam either. Yeah, nope, I don't go anywhere near that stuff. Especially because a lot of it is really like, I'm not gonna like sit up here and be like, you can't make that. By all means, I know that it makes a lot of money. It's a very popular genre of horror. But I'm not gonna watch it. It's not something that I want. I don't find it enjoyable. It's not something I want to do. And it's, if that's your jam, I'm gonna pray for you. I'm not gonna say by all means do you, but like, yeah, I am gonna keep a wide berth of that stuff. Quite frankly, if you want a possession horror story, like, or just a horror story involving demons in general, go read Book of Revelations. I promise you're not gonna be able to sleep for a month. What about possessed doll films? Nope, I don't touch them either. I hate Chucky. I hate it so much. Like, porcelain dolls freak me out. I am genuinely terrified. Like, not genuinely terrified. I hate porcelain dolls. I also hate clowns. You can imagine how much I love it. Not really. Hoy vey. I don't like clowns. Like, just as a general rule. I find them bizarre and not in a good way. I don't like, yeah, so in a horror, in a horror film, if like you've got the dolls that like turn their heads and they stare at you, that also scares the ever loving out of it. Like, yikes. It's, just not, like I said, not my jam. the dolls and the clowns and the possession stuff, I'm not a big fan of. No, I've not given my opinion on The Exorcist. I have seen The Exorcist. But again, I don't think possession and all that stuff should be, I don't think Satan should be used for entertainment purposes. Now if he's in, like, obviously, he's an entity. And if he's the antagonist in your story, which he should be all the time, if he's the antagonist in your story, and people are either trying to close the gates of hell or stop him from raising or from sending demons or the apocalypse, I am all for that. I am not for almost, I wouldn't say romanticizing possession, but if you guys have ever actually listened to exorcists, and you've got the tapes at the Vatican and stuff like that, when you learn about demonic possession and how it has increased exponentially over the past 2 decades, especially this from 2010 on, how much it's just exploded, it's actually pretty terrifying. And it's not something that I need in my entertainment, me personally. That's just my opinion. If you like that stuff, then that's your opinion. If you mail me porcelain clown dolls for Halloween, they're all gonna go in a bonfire with ancient ruins, and you will be cursed for the next 100 generations. So by all means, Philbo, you want to play that game, I can do that too. Roll 20 for resistance. Thank you very much. Oh my god, Hellraiser was your first horror movie at 7? Yeah, I wouldn't have slept ever again. Oh, yikes. Well, I saw The Exorcist at 8, so I completely understand. Dude, I was almost, I think I was 10 or 12 when I watched The Mummy, and I was still scared. It's, yeah. But, it's, I don't know. It's, oh, bye, Southeastern Kaiju. Have a good night. Thanks for coming. But yeah, so we've sort of slipped into some other subgenres. So there's, horror is, there's a wide selection. I think that a big focus lately on horror has been the slasher type genre. And frankly, I thought Signs was more terrifying than something like Final Destination. Final Destination 1 was able to sort of hone in on that fear of death, and then death getting equal with you escaping your fate. But then after that, it really did just become shock and awe. It was really how gruesome can we make this death? You know what I mean? And so yeah, like I said, it's the slasher genre is not for me. The possession genre is not for me. I'm very much more the suspense, thriller, monster horrors. And I think those are and honestly, I think those films and books and stories are better written, because you're really having to delve into the psychology of your audience, rather than relying on jump scares, which you can still have those, but rather than pools of blood or guts everywhere, or eyeballs in stew, whatever the case may be. That's not really what you're leaning on. You're leaning on being able to psychologically disturb your audience with the thrillers and stuff like that. So that's just my opinion on horror in general. I had a really good time talking Hocus Pocus. I hope if you guys haven't watched it, you go check it out. If you have seen it, but it's been a while, it is Halloween. There's no better time to, go back and give it a rewatch and get some nostalgia in your bones. And then realize that, holy crap, there's a lot of stuff in here that kids are not going to pick up on and probably don't need to hear about. But it's all good. But yeah, that's sort of where we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for the night. I know that not everybody is on Twitter. I usually try to be pretty active on Twitter and Instagram, because a lot of you guys have so many interesting things to say and share. You have lots of talent, and I want to be able to support all of you in any way that I can. But I did post up on my Twitter the other day. I'm not really going to be active on social media for a while. I just have so much stuff going on. And it's not just with like my day job, it's just stuff in general. Um I have training sessions that are going to be picking up really hard. I'm trying to at this point, if something I'm trying to do a half marathon in December and I've been training for it. But I am not at where I want to be. So I've considered maybe doing the 10K, but yeah, there's a charity half marathon that I'm wanting to run in. So I have to really buckle down and start cutting and exercise and training for that. And then like I got family stuff, I got animal stuff, I've got music stuff, I've got church stuff. I have this YouTube stuff that I'm trying to do with more definitely more content. I'm trying to get videos edited so that I can just sort of like shoot them out one after the other and try to stay apprised somewhat of the news that's going on. And so I didn't go that into depth on my Twitter about anything. So if you're watching this, whether it's on the replay or live right now, you guys know more about what's going on than anything else. But I do try to do as much charity work as I can. I am not particularly wealthy in any way, shape, or form. So being able to donate my time or my other abilities, I wouldn't necessarily call them talents, because there's stuff that I wasn't necessarily gifted at and could just pick up and do. It was stuff I had to work at. So, different skills or different abilities that I've been able to train and work on over the years. And the fact that I'm able to help charities by running or by doing different competitions, like I think that that's something that's really great too, because you're able to give a part of yourself. I know that monetary help would probably be better for all of these charities, and one day I hope to be able to do all of that, but it's just not in the cards right this second. But yeah, then I've got my littles, and we have, and family, and so gosh, it's the 14th. We are 2 weeks out from Halloween. It's Then we've got Veterans Day. Oh my gosh, I've got Halloween, Marine Corps birthday, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, then Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and all of the stuff that goes along with that. So there's just going to be so much stuff going on. So I will be as active as I possibly can, but where I was more able to have a lot of conversation, and I love Twitter because it's so easy to have, it's also really easy to misunderstand what someone says, but it's really easy to have like a conversation with someone and, to have different interactions. And I think that's really great because I've gotten to know so many of you online. And it's been really humbling. You guys, there are so many of you that are talented beyond anything that I have ever seen. It's like, yikes. You guys are freaking outstanding. You are all phenomenal. Just keep going, because holy cow, I cannot wait to see what you guys can do next. It's truly awesome. The fact that you guys are even, giving me some of your time, I really just can't put into words how much I appreciate it, really. It means the world to me. It really, really does. And hopefully I give you guys something worth your time. And that's why I wanted to do nostalgia streams, because while it's important to discuss what's going on, I think it's also prudent of us to, Tolkien, I think, really said it best, it's our duty to escape. Like if a soldier was trapped, would we not consider it his duty to escape? And so when it comes to escapism, we should take as many people with us as we can, even if it's only for that 90 minutes or those, those 2 hours, whatever it is, just that brief escapism. It's so crucial. Because it helps keep you sane. You have to stay balanced. You can't live in escapism indefinitely. But if you never took a break from reality, you would go crazy for different reasons. Like depression would take hold and definitely, do its thing. And that is a nasty bugger. So it's really important to make sure you're getting that healthy balance of escapism and reality. And I think, a lot of these movies, like next week, I'm so excited to cover The Mummy, you guys. You don't even understand how much I love this movie. And I'm obviously going to get into the why of it next week. But the escapism that it offers, and the fun and the adventure and the horror and all of the that's what good movies, good entertainment is supposed to do. Music should teleport you. Escapism should demolish all barriers. Music especially can do this, but real escapism, real power comes when we find our commonalities in what it is that we love, rather than focusing on all of these things that we are told to hyper focus on all the time. We find a connection with someone that maybe we would have never otherwise looked at them. We never would have thought that they would be a friend, or they would have anything in common with us, or that we would connect with them at all. And yet here we are discussing our love of these films, of this music, of these books. It's really, really great. And it's something that our souls crave. We need it as much as it needs us. I'm going to check the donation side really quick, and oh my goodness. Okay. A free flying soul for $25. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I agree with your stance on respecting certain supernatural topics. Free flying soul, thank you for the $25. And yes, there are some things that I am not going to screw around with. And you can call that intuition. You can call that a sixth sense. You can call that faith. You can call it ridiculous. Whatever word you want to use, I know what it is. I know that I am not going to be so overly... I'm not going to fall into the trap of hubris and believe that I am immune to this certain thing because I don't believe in it. That's actually that's a theme we're going to cover next week. But just because you don't believe in something does not mean that it's not real. And just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean it's not going to affect your life. And that, those ideas get thrown around a lot more loosely today, which bothers me to some degree. But that's just the truth. If you don't believe in something, then just leave it alone and walk away. And if you do believe in it, be respectful and give it a wide berth. You know what I mean? But that's just that is my humble opinion. And it's served me well so far, I should say. But well, we've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. It has meant so much to me. These streams have been an oasis for my soul and have given me a new, refreshed focus. Couple of things. Thursday Night Throwdown is over on Comics Division's channel tonight. I'm not really sure all the topics that they're gonna talk about, but he always does just a freaking phenomenal job. He has a great panel. I love Thursday Night Throwdown, so go check him out. George the Giant Slayer, George Molo, if any of you don't know who he is, he's a huge supporter of a lot of channels. He's doing more videos and more streams, and he's coming out of his shell, and it's wonderful to see. He is incredible. Check out his channel. It's George the Giant Slayer. He is so much fun, and so knowledgeable and eloquent, and just, oh my goodness, like, he is gonna kill it, and I am loving watching it. It gives me so, like, when I see you guys doing well, it just inspires me to do really well. I'm like, yes, you get it, you go. I love to see it, and I'm gonna be your biggest cheerleader. And like, and then it ignites that passion, reignites that passion in my soul to be like, yes, we can do this. Like, this is amazing. I love watching all of you guys just absolutely killing what you're doing. And then, of course, tomorrow, Friday Night Tights. It's going to be great. It always is. But for anybody that didn't know, our one and only Gary is going to be on Tim Pool tomorrow. So that is going to be absolutely fantastic, incredibly exciting. Gary has earned this to be able to, discuss things with Tim, because Gary has said, hey, I've got no problem with it. Like, if he wants to talk about it, we can. And that's how Gary approaches things. He's gonna kill it. So it's gonna be a heck of a Friday. Father Christopher Miller, I'm not really sure how you're gonna work your pre-show in. I know a lot of stuff is gonna be shifting tomorrow. Keep an eye on, like, on Gary's, on the Nerdrotic Twitter, on the Instagram, also Sunday Swags, Mrs. Nerdrotic, who was so kind and wonderful and lovely enough to come on my channel last week and talk to Princess Bride with me. If you haven't seen that one, go check it out. She's freaking awesome. But she's doing the Instagram stuff, and they do the Swag Sundays, the Swag Sundays, and they do giveaways. It's freaking fantastic. Go and check him out over there. I think he also has, I believe he's got a Minds as well. And then, of course, nerdrotic.com. But tomorrow is going to be insane in the membrane. I'm going to age myself with that, but it's a good saying. It's going to be so much fun. There's going to be so much stuff going on. It's going to blow your mind. And then, of course, there's so many great creators out there. If you guys want good music, all right. So I came across this guy accidentally. I was just like, so I listen to a lot of instrumental, like, power ballads and stuff. And hang on. Oh, good. Now I can't find it. Let me see. Why is this an alpha? Here we go. This he's not horror, like, at all. But here. This is Cole McGinnis. All, like, the voice work is all him. It's, yeah, as you can see, I've, like, there's some, why are these not, I've watched all of these. I don't know why they're not red. Let me see. I think it's this one. Yeah. Dude. Hopefully I don't get struck, but it's a cover, so I don't think I will. And he has such control and power.
Of silence.
I mean, come on. Like I strongly recommend Cole McGinnis. His Okay, I'm gonna share this one really quick because I've seen it on so many like videos. Um, and you all are gonna recognize it right out of the gate as soon as I can find it. Um, but it's it's like there was a video that that this cover got used on, and it had over like I think 20 million views or something like that. So hang on a sec. Na, 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 na. Y'all are gonna know what this song is and like have a heartbeat. Um, like holy cow, he is so talented. So yeah, definitely like if you're wanting to do like um music and stuff, like he does fantastic covers. Yes, I do not like he and Peter. I love Peter Hollins. Um, he's he is an incredible vocalist, but I agree that I think Cole McGinnis and Peter Hollins together would be insane. It would just um like wow. Things that make your heart go pitter patter, let me tell you. Um Man, I am definitely doing these Midwest goodbyes. I think I've said bye like 4 times. I appreciate y'all hanging in here with me with all of my goodbyes, but I hope I've given you like some great stuff. Um yeah, no, he Cole McGinnis, like, you know how a lot of people sing really well, but then you hear like a pure voice, and maybe this is just my like maybe this is just me, maybe I'm weird, but there is there are certain voices in this world that have the ability to just hit. I swear, th- there's like a thread in the universe that they're able to hit, and it's just the most pure talented thing you've ever heard. um but yeah, so there's fantastic music all over YouTube. um there's fantastic content everywhere. A lot of you guys are making your own. I want to be able to support all of you. I wish I had more time to be everywhere and watch everything. Um, you know, my highlights for tonight, I think, I've already hit them, but check out Comics Division in a little bit with his Thursday Night Throwdown. And then tomorrow, Tim Pool will have Gary. And of course, we've got Friday Night Tights. And you've got Father Christopher Miller doing his streams. So make sure you go check it out. There's great stuff out there. I hope these nostalgia streams I hope they accomplish their mission and bring you even just like a small bit of joy and a spark of passion back. I plan to expand past films and do books and music, kind of like, a little bit kind of what we just did there, where maybe I pick like an artist or a series and we'll cover it that night. Television shows, there's a lot of great ones out there. It's, you know, I plan to cover a lot of stuff, so it'll be interesting. Beauty is in the ear of the beholder. Okay, well, uh, did you hear that man's voice? Did you hear the range? Um, and if you're knocking the accent because it's Irish, he actually, I believe, has talked about how he was really hesitant because of his accent because it is so thick. And quite frankly, I think it just adds charm and it does help him stand out because there's a lot of people who are too afraid to be who they really are and like deliver what they have out of fear and of whether that being judged or whatever. One of I'm trying to think. Oh god, there's so many like there's one other artist, Rachel Harding. If any of you know who she is, she's absolutely phenomenal. She's one of the most I I don't know how else to put this. Um you know what? I'm just gonna let her voice speak for itself. How's that? Um we'll see if we can't make you. I am not a simp. I am simply sharing some stuff that I love. Bleh. Um but hang on a sec. So maybe this will make Bastard happy. Okay, that wasn't the end of the song, but I realized that I was, yeah, but yeah, that was Rachel Hardy. I have been subscribed to her for a long time, and how that woman doesn't have 10 million subs minimum, I have no idea. Yes, I did, Sultan. I was singing along and I thought I had muted my mic, and then I realized it wasn't, so I muted my mic, and that's also why I stopped the music, because I'm embarrassed. But yes, she is amazing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and drop her name and her link, and I guess here. She could be the first artist that like I do. I'm like I said, I'm gonna drop Colm's stuff too. Uh Here, we'll do it to this. The railroad. Yep. Okay. So the two artists were Cole McGuinness and Rachel Hardy. And Rachel Hardy, she her voice is like ethereal. It is so beautiful and delicate, but it still has power. It's what a lot of us aim for. Like, it takes a lot of you can tell she really cares about her craft and her work, and same thing with Cole McGuinness. Like, a lot of these artists put a lot of passion and heart into their content. So there's so much out there that gosh. So maybe I can do let's next week I can do The Mummy for like the first hour, and then maybe like for 30 minutes we can talk about different musicians and stuff like that. I'm more than happy to cover Rachel Hardy. I think that everybody should be subscribed to her. I don't know why more people are not. Hold on, let me see if I can find the other one. So we're going to listen to more Rachel Hardy because I absolutely adore her. She is so incredibly talented. And, it's a good reminder to like be really supportive of the creators that are out there, and, you like be inspired by their passion and be inspired by their work ethic and their drive and all of those things, and use that focus to really propel yourself in a positive direction. You know what I mean? Your light's not going to shine any brighter if you're trying to dim somebody else's out of like jealousy or spite. And especially when it's something this beautiful and this pure, it's just great. Now, this is from Dragon Age Inquisition, The Dawn Will Come. I don't know how many of you have played Dragon Age Inquisition. It's not the best Dragon Age game there is. However, the OST is, I don't know who did this, but like there's some gems in this game. You know what I mean? A lot of what gameplay is for me is it has a lot to do with the music, because it helps with the set, like it's all part of the setting and the world building and everything like that. So this one is a cover of The Dawn Will Come, and it's performed by Rachel Hardy.
Shadows fall and hope has fled. Still your heart, the dawn will come. The night is long and the path is dark. Look to the sky for one day soon the dawn will come. The shepherd's lost and his home is far. Keep to the stars, the dawn will come. The night is long and the path is dark. Look to the sky, for one day soon the dawn will come. Bear your blade and raise it high. Stand your ground, the dawn will come. The night is long and the path is dark. Look to the sky, for one day soon the dawn will come.
So yeah. she's one of my favorites. There's a ton more. Like, we have so much to talk about. I am so excited. Like, really truly, it's going to be great. So yeah, if you guys sort of liked this where we talk about movies for the first hour and then I can talk about, music and different creators for like 30 minutes to an hour after that, I am happy to do so. This is some of like, oh, this tugs at my heartstrings. Like, that is where some of my passion lies for sure. But I will wrap it up on that beautiful cover of The Dawn Will Come. Again, the artists that you heard were Cole McGuinness and Rachel Hardy. The movie that we talked about was Hocus Pocus. I hope you guys had fun. I know I had fun. I really love and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for your support and just being the awesome people that you are. Really, truly, you're freaking phenomenal, and I love you all. Have a great night, and I will see you on FNT.